council workshop for February the 18th. If we could all rise for the invocation, remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Lord, thanks for bringing us all together tonight, Lord. May we make the decisions, Lord, in honor of your name, Lord, and in accordance to the way you would have us work, Lord. I'd like to say a special prayer tonight, Lord, for Denise, who could not be with us, Lord, due to a medical procedure, Lord. May you bring comfort to her, Lord. Lord, may you also bless all those folks, Lord, that have been in the path of these terrible winter storms over the last several days and past weeks. Lord, we're very lucky where we live, Lord. You protect us from so many things, Lord, and we're so grateful, Lord. Lord, bless everybody here at this meeting and everybody that's listening on the internet, Lord. Bless our frontline workers and our medical workers, Lord. And all these things we pray in Jesus' heavenly name. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since we no public, are there any letters or anything to be read? No. All righty, moving on. Next is the agenda adoption, and I would like to entertain a motion that we do away with item 8 and discuss that at our monthly meeting.
So moved.
Seconded. Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank y'all. Moving on to Mr. Rush for our state of emergency.
All right, Mr. Robert, if you'll cue that up. So since let's see, Monday was your last briefing that was sent to you. Things continue to improve in the world of COVID since your Monday briefing. Once our PowerPoint comes up here, you'll be able to see the numbers. So all metrics that I report tonight will be as of 10 a.m. this morning. And so just to kind of jump around what the Virginia numbers are, we're what, about 4 days in since Monday, but I want to go over here to the positivity rate, 7-day positivity. We're running at 8.6% today. We were at 9.3% Monday when I sent that report out. So we're getting better every day. As you can see by those numbers there, we're starting to come back in line where we were, towards the first part of December and in November, and also back around the September timeframe. So hopefully we can keep trending in this direction. And again, it's still here. It's around us, but we're certainly a lot better than the 16.7% we had gotten to there in January. So Eastern Shore, since Monday, there's only been 15 new cases in Accomack, 10 new in Northampton, 2 new deaths, unfortunately, in Accomack, and no additional deaths or hospitalizations in Northampton. So again, it's kind of stabilized itself at this point. Chincoteague, no new cases since Monday, and I'll back up for the public that may be listening. On Monday, we were only 4 additional cases in the last week. So again, we are really starting to, start to see things trend back in the direction we want to see it. And there's only been 6 tested since Monday. So again, that also tells us we're starting to see some healthier folks out and about at this point that aren't being tested. So what now? Phase 1B continues to roll out. On Tuesday, we had a VDH conference call, and by their own admission, they reported that the rollout may have been too fast of 1B. So again, I think, okay, wow, we're maybe starting to agree on something here, because if you remember when 1A rolled out and I reported to you, it was very rapid, but it was in small digestible segments. When 1B come about, I think everyone got overzealous, overexcited, and everybody got added to 1B, and now we're kind of in this quagmire. However, doses per week are now up to 130,000 for the state, so we're starting to see things slowly catch up. But it's going to take several months to complete 1B. This is not something that's going to happen overnight, not going to happen in the next couple weeks. We're going to be into early spring before we see 1B have a big impact as far as getting those vaccinations out. The variant has been detected in Virginia, and what I will say about that, and we've probably all heard at this point, it's a lot more contagious than the original COVID. However, there have been reports that maybe it's not as deadly or make people as sick, but now they're starting to see some data that suggests otherwise. But still too early in the game to really get excited about it, but the variants are out here. Just like the flu, we're going to see variants. So again, we have to see where it lands because it's just too new at this point. Masks will still be required after 1B is over and we're in 1C and whatever else comes. Right now I see masks up into 2022, unfortunately. I really think that's what's going to happen. That's not any official guidance, but based on what we're seeing right now. Yesterday, the governor had a briefing at 2 o'clock concerning the vaccination program. As you remember, a few weeks ago, they tried this go online to VDH, sign up, and it failed miserably. Again, maybe a little too zealous on trying to roll things out before it was tested. But now they have a number that you and or the public can call. That number is 877-VAX-IN-VA. So for all of us who don't like dealing in letters, including myself, 877-829-4682. And you can get information. You can actually get your name on a list to try to get vaccinated. This hotline is open 7 days a week. It's staffed with 750 operators, and it runs from 8A to 8P every day. So hopefully this will start to get some folks that are feeling a little bit overwhelmed, not knowing where to go. You can get information at this number, and you can also get on a list to, again, get signed up in the appropriate areas. And if you did get signed up when the last web page came out and rolled out for sign up, you don't have to do any of this. You're already there. But again, peace of mind, go ahead. And then if you choose to use the computer and you want to use the good old web, vaccinate.virginia.gov. You can sign up there as well. And we were assured yesterday that this will be a lot better and robust system than what happened a few weeks ago. So again, slow strides, but we are making strides in the right direction. So with that, you know, there always has to be a little bit of a dark cloud in the room. CDC sent out some new guidelines as it relates to vaccinations, exposures, and quarantine. So as you know, if you got exposed, close contact, you know, within that 6-foot space for more than 15 minutes, you had to quarantine for 14 days. And then suddenly we start talking about vaccination and we're all going to be saved. So yes, we need to get vaccinated. Vaccinations are where we're going to start making progress. But the new CDC guideline says if you have, you're greater than 2 weeks after your second shot, so 2 weeks, you get your shot today, 2 weeks from now, and you come into contact with anybody in that close contact with COVID, you don't have to quarantine. If it's within 3 months, okay, within 3 months of your second shot, you don't have to quarantine. But what happens if it's day 2 after 3 months? Now you're going to have to quarantine again for 14 days. And again, if you remain asymptomatic since your exposure and you've had the vaccination, and you're not with, you know, you're greater than 2 weeks and you're within the 3 months, you're okay. But what this is telling us is after 3 months of vaccination and you come into contact with COVID again, right now, today, you're going to have to quarantine for 14 days. So we're kind of going backwards a little bit. Now, once new data comes out, once vaccinations, they're able to start doing antibodies and things like that to see where the vaccinations are actually hindering or helping folks, this is probably more than likely subject to change. But right now, that's what it is. So, you know, don't get overexcited, overzealous that, okay, we're all saved. We're heading in the right direction, but there are still, you know, some soft ground out here that we're walking on right now. So just keep that in mind. With that, I'm throwing in the rocket launch that's happening Saturday because it has fallen under our COVID planning at this point. The planning team met the other day so that we could come up with a plan. We had a little bit of a monkey wrench thrown into that. We had to involve the Department of Health to work out some of the details. NASA, once again, will not be open to any viewing areas, so that's going to send everyone to us. It is going to be on Saturday, 12:36 in the afternoon. That technically should mean we're going to have a lot more folks here. But due to the governor's order 72, no one's supposed to be in groups greater than 10. So we did not want to promote something that was going against the governor, so it was time to reach out a little higher than just us. So after consulting VDH, they said as long as we put messaging out that was consistent with what you see in the red there, that would be okay, that people could do that. So they want groups no more than 10. So if folks go down here to the footbridge or the bike bridge by McDonald's or down to the harbor, groups no greater than 10. The groups themselves have to remain 6 foot space from one another, and they have to wear masks while they're inside their group, even though it's outside. That was okay. VDH is the enforcement authority, so our police department, Chief Fisher, his folks, won't be going around going, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that. VDH will be that enforcement authority, so whether they're here or not, we don't know that. Assateague Island will not open Saturday morning. It won't open until after the launch. So until it's either scrubbed or it launches at 12:36, the Assateague won't be open. And on that note, this goes back to what I've talked to before and brought before you all. If this were a July, just think of how this would affect. And again, if the rocket doesn't go on Saturday, it won't open on Sunday until after the launch. And it's about 12:14, I think it is, on Sunday. So just keep that in mind for future planning. There is a July launch scheduled for the next mission. So just, when you are talking to, some of your other counterparts, elected officials, this certainly could at some point be worthy of some type of discussion. And again, our messaging, wear your mask, wash your hands, watch your distance. So in summary, we're still response and recovery. The positivity rate is decreasing daily. We still should all remain cautious for variant spread, be on the lookout for that. PPE supplies are adequate right now. 1B, again, a couple months before we start to see us starting to manage that and come out of it. And then VDH has again issued that guidance for the launch viewing so that we could keep our public viewing open. Wash your hands, wear your mask, watch your distance, keep your circle small. And then if you're sick, don't go out. Feel bad, get tested. That's what we got to keep doing, and obviously it's working. I'll entertain any questions.
Anybody?
Thank you, Brian.
All
right,
thank you,
thank
Brian.
you.
All right. Next up, we have Hill Studios that are going to give us a presentation on what they would like to see done with the old firehouse, or what they propose to be done with the old firehouse.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you, guys. My name is Grayson Williams. I'm with the Accomack Northampton Planning District Commission. I'm the project manager for the redevelopment of the firehouse. I'll have David introduce himself as well.
Hi, I'm David Hill. I'm president of Hill Studio in Roanoke, and we've been working with Grayson and our committee for the firehouse for about the last 9 months now.
Thank you guys for having us tonight. Well, I know we came back in September, presented to you guys a preliminary plan that we have here, but now we finally got all of our ducks in a row best we could, and with our budget constraints and everything, and hopefully we'll have something presented to you guys that you like to move forward with. Go ahead, Mike. So on our agenda tonight, we have that checklist that I updated from our last presentation. We'll touch on the sewage and parking discussion again. We'll look over the designs once again. We already put that over. We'll go through that quickly. And then we'll go back to the funding, which we really have been working on since September, since we presented to you guys before. And then we'll look at some comparable projects. I know Ms. Bowden has done her nice handy dandy notes on there and drawings for there. So I'll cover that. The 3 big ones that I found would be more comparable to the Sugar Creek Firehouse. And then we'll go to our next steps with what needs to happen to get this thing rolling. So overall, this is still what we were doing in September. The overall goal for this firehouse is to have a tangible asset, not vacant, to get back to the community. Also, the biggest goal for us is not to have something seasonal. We want this thing to be constantly 365, bringing something in to better the economics for the town of Chincoteague here, and creating more opportunities for our workforce on the island as well. And then also driving some more traffic, some foot traffic down the way to where Bill's is and Rope Walk, so people can start walking down and get a little exercise, because I know personally me, I just drive down there now. You know, take the gallery and all that boutiques and stuff, get an extra walking in down there, create some more functioning for Rope Walk and other restaurants for down town of Chincoteague. So here's our updated checklist that we've done. First, what we already previously did, we developed our surveys, did a great 433 responses. That was at the peak of COVID, so getting 433 responses was amazing. Our goal was 450 pre-COVID. So we did a great job with that with the help of the Chincoteague Firehouse Steering Committee. We solicited quotes with an RFQ. We eventually awarded the Hill Studio. Then Hill Studio completed the actual designs for the downstairs and upstairs of the firehouse of what we're proposing here. We also identified the sewage and parking issue that I know it's a big thing on the island here. We identified a treatment center, what we need to do to be feasible for this project to get completed. We also identified the rents that would need to be done for the bottom, which would be commercial rents, and all the residential rents on the top portion as well on the second floor. And then we've been working on the pro forma. It's still a working document. It's constantly going to be changing if you all move forward with this. It's a budget is just this overview of expenses and move things around, but we think we really fine-tuned this as much as we could. And one comment was when we previously presented to you guys, we still need some comments from VCDC, the Virginia Department of Development. And it was that next week is when they gave us another pro forma, which was almost kind of identical to what our numbers were looking at. So we were able to work with them to get a little bit more fine-tuned. So I wish it was a week before so we gave you a little bit more reassurance with our numbers. But now when we present to you guys with the funding and expenses and stuff, it's really going to come into play now and make more sense. So the sewage and parking. We're still proposing what we have done in the past in September. We're still going to have a 25 EDU system, which will be over on the Cropper Street. That's the best, most feasible area. And all this information is from the subcontracted engineer here on shore. And the 25 EDU system, and the things that we kind of really digged in on was the actual numbers. So now it's going to be about 6,250 gallons per day compared to around over 7,000 what we were proposing before. And also what we'll be doing is 113 seating capacity for a restaurant downstairs, which is proposed. And with this sewage system, the 25 EDU system over there on Cropper Street, it's really, we don't want to cut short of what we want here. We don't want to, when we have this diverse building over here, bringing all these businesses in, we don't go, oh, we can't do that because of sewage. We don't want the sewage to be a problem, you know. We want that to be not our biggest issue here. The biggest issue to get people in, you know. So we don't want sewage. We want to have it the biggest portion that we have here so we can diversify different businesses coming in. And then the parking, the same thing, will be adjacent to this sewage plant down there on Cropper Street as well, and then proposing hopefully the public parking across the street for overflow. So the thing is, I really wanted to fine-tune these designs and the engineering portion of it, but due to budget constraints that we had, we weren't able to actually get a design for you guys. So that actually, the engineering would cost about $50,000, and that's included in the pro forma to complete that. So we actually get troops on the ground, measure it out there, survey, engineer, and all that good stuff. So we actually have something that's going to be feasible for.
So, working with the committee, we first did a pretty thorough analysis of the building itself. It's got great bones. It's in pretty good shape. And both the interior has some very important historic characteristics as well as the outside. People told us all through the study we want you to preserve that fire station. You know, it means so much to us historically for the island. So we put together a strategy to do a historic tax credit project, which would put the building on the National Register as part of the process. So inside you see things like the subway tile, the floor, which is which I believe we put in more recently over the concrete. It's a rubber floor. But the beams, everything that we found initially looks in pretty good shape, a lot of historic elements. And then the final floor plan that we've decided on initially is that it would be a very flexible first floor space, generally to be used as a mixed-use market space, an artisan market, a small office, and two special event spaces over on the left bay. And these would have to be supplemented with restroom storage and the circulation space that you see on the diagram in pink. In the back left, in sort of the top left on your drawing here, the apartment lobby would be built in the little addition of the old garage that used to be there, and that would allow us to get an elevator up to the top floor. The next picture indicates a furniture arrangement in that building. And on the left side, you can see on the more daily, ordinary use with the with artisan gallery fixtures there and tables. And then on the far right of that drawing, you'll see some of the larger gallery spaces. And then on the right side, you see all those rolled out of the way and tables brought in. We can seat about 100 people in big round tables in each of those bay spaces. And the more that we talked this design about, the more it seemed that there would be a very keen interest in this particular idea of the flexible special event space. And it may supplement, say, different restaurants downtown who would like to rent the space when they get a catered event, so it could be quickly transformed into that kind of use. And it would also not necessarily compete with your town's larger event space, which is here. These are more 80 to 100 person special events, where I believe the one here is a much larger facility. Also, this is a little bit more niche, boutique, historic firehouse building versus building in a park, what you have here. Okay, the next plate indicates the upstairs of the building. The traditional was the firehouse dining room and some other rooms upstairs. The next picture shows a lot of big windows in that space. This shows this transformed into 6 apartments with circulation space. Of those, 2 would be 2-bedroom apartments. They would be the ones toward the street, and then the other ones would be 1-bedroom apartments. Still pretty good-sized apartments. They would have the high bay space, which is so desirable, and each would have its own window, and each would also have its own little storage locker, which you see in the upper left there near the elevator. And then the drawing on the right shows a detailed plan of one of the apartment in there to sort of show how the furniture would all fit. So that the upstairs would be workforce apartment. So generally, we put together, as Grayson mentioned, we put together a pro forma, and we did our own. And then our sponsor, which was Virginia Housing, since it's such a complicated project, they asked a co-agency, Virginia Community Development Corporation, or VCDC, to run their own pro forma. And as Grayson mentioned, we were surprised at how close both of these turned out with completely different authors. But to be simple about it, 3 different strategies. And this is one where we really worked pretty hard. Got about a $3.2 million total project, including all the soft costs, all the hard costs together. And it's about 1/3 grants, 1/3 tax credits, and a third permanent financing. That's the easiest way to look at it, about $1 million each. And so we've been happy to do that. We wouldn't have to ask the town for any money going in. Your contribution would be the $600,000 building. That's your equity in the project. But the whole project works with the financing, the tax credits, and the different grants that we would write to do it. Now the grants, we call this as kind of a slang term called the funding stack. To build a lot of complicated projects like this, you go and write different grants to, I guess, sort of get a stack of them to do it. And your stack would have, we went ahead and listed the national and state investment tax credits for historic properties. Grace and I would propose that we would write a grant to the state called an IRF grant. That's the Industrial Revitalization Fund, which could bring about $600,000 to the project. We would write a smaller grant to the Accomack County for the brownfields program that they have. We would write a CDBG grant for the design and construction of the sewer system. And then we have some smaller ones in here. The town or EDA permit reviews. And finally, Virginia Housing, which was the people that sponsored this particular study, they came to the table and said, we will finance your project if you build the housing up top. And they would provide, in addition to a 2.9% loan over 30 years, which is a pretty good deal, a $250,000 grant to the project. So that's how we, some people say how you eat an elephant one bite at a time. Here are all the different bites at that elephant, the funding stack. Okay, next slide, please. Operating budget. Generally, we have this set up that rental income would be about $104,000 per year, and the debt service on that $1 million, $1.1 million bank loan is $55,000 a year, and operating expenses, and that includes things like, water, painting the place after somebody moves out of an apartment, the maintenance reserve. All those things are in that budget. Even a building management, somebody to manage this for you, $40,000 a year. So this, using this pro forma, is positive cash flow during those 30 years when you're paying back the loan of about $8,500. Of course, once the loan's paid back, then you have a much better cash flow of about $8,500 plus $55,000. So it's more like 65,000 after that, but 30 years is a long time. So that's generally how that works. Okay, Grayson?
So you're probably asking, can this be done? And I've got 3 examples for you that it has been done before. So I did have kind of a comparison projects here. The first one's over in Ford, Virginia. I've got a whole bunch of other projects that are over in Texas, North Carolina, all over the state in the United States, but I wanted to focus in on Virginia because that's apples to apples. So Floyd's actually around 470 residents on there. That's their population. So small town. That's where I'm from, small town. So what this is actually is more comparable because on the bottom there is a market, a farmer's market over on the outside, on the left side. And then down the bottom it has a whole bunch of businesses, kind of like what we're proposing with the Shingatig. And on top, on the, supposed to say second and third floor, I apologize for that, but over on top is a residential housing, kind of like what we're doing over at Shingatig as well. Now a lot of those you'll see with these businesses, you'll see kind of a trend of what these businesses that they're bringing in. It's a lot of boutiques, coffee shops, they even put in salons, a gallery, they have about 12 units. The lease terms here, they vary each project, it just depends on what the town and the development team really just wants to do. That's kind of flexible for you guys. And then the residential, they have about 9, which we're proposing about 6, and they're looking at 1 bedroom to 2 bedroom apartments, which is what we're exactly doing here. Go ahead, next one, Mike. So the next one over here is over in Harrisonburg, a little bit bigger than Shingatig, but it's really nice. It's in a historic building, and this is strictly only for a shopping experience, kind of what will be on the lower side for the firehouse, Shingatig Firehouse. And the cool thing is the front facade actually kind of resembles the firehouse as well. I kind of just wanted to throw that in there because I thought it was kind of cool resembling that. And this shopping experience, again, is boutiques, coffee shops. The only thing I could think is the boutiques and coffee shops are a little bit easier of a startup business, especially in these areas as well. That's what I'm thinking as a trend, as a business person. And then the renting here, they actually include their rents on here, like straight up rent. And they include everything. They include the water, electric, HVAC, trash pickup. So it's the whole, everything you pay for is just one monthly fee. And it's around $642 a month for 453 square foot. And then $470 a month for 332 square foot, which with our numbers and stuff, we're probably, it's a little bit lower, probably around the same, but I really think our numbers will be low because I think our rents aren't including all that good stuff now, but I really don't think it'd be anywhere near what those rents are. So and like I said, our numbers in the pro forma are quite conservative, and those numbers we put up on the PowerPoint are just those rounded up and down kind of things, so it's a little bit easier on the eyes. And the last one here, I have a good connection with because I used to work at Purdue with agribusiness and stuff. So over on this one, it's over in South Hill, Virginia, which is about the population of Chicopee. It's run by a 501c3 nonprofit, and this has a huge, vast array of operations. They got a grocery store, they've got a commercial kitchen, they got a dairy processing room, food deli, coffee shop again, and then actually a classroom, kind of what we were first looking at with our project here, kind of like some like food, working with one of the colleges or something coming in, but just to teach students or something like that. But this one they actually did it, and then the kitchen's actually transforming locally produced farm and produce into value-added product to make a little profit inside. And you see here over on the right, that's where the deli is and where they're selling that for. And it's bringing it back into the local economy. And then also in the classroom, they teach the agribusiness, they keep cooking, healthy eating, canning, and then sustainable farming. Actually had this conjunction with the Virginia State University School of Agriculture, which I'm sure Chincoteague, if you want to go to a classroom or something, could be easily done. But these three are successful projects that has done something with a historic building and used it into a mixed-use area.
All right, I think the final slide is next steps on this. What we would recommend as next steps is that the town would appoint a development reconnaissance team, because there's a lot of stuff in here. We've brought them up as ideas, but each of these needs researching, especially things like, can you get those grants? You know, we got to get those things in order to make the thing work. So each has its own deadline as to when they would apply. So development reconnaissance team would include, we would hope, Grayson's agency, my company, and then a representative from the town. And then those three individuals would work during what we would call a due diligence period, to see if they could actually get all those things that are proposed in that in the pro forma, to sort of lock those in during a due diligence period, and then bring it back to you and say, yep, we can lock it in, and then we would ask for permission to proceed into a development phase. So I believe that's all we would have for you tonight. Any conclusions, Grayson?
No, and tonight we're not asking for a motion or anything. This is kind of something, this is the most feasible thing that we have proposed for the firehouse to stay in town control. You know, this is out of all the things that we've done, we've talked with other agencies, with the engineer, with David with his full experience, with the PDC's experience, with all these different agencies looking together. This final product and packet that we gave to you, I apologize for the small print on here. David luckily printed out a big performance so we could see, but this is the best feasibility that we could find, and we are confident with this, and it's a positive value at the end of the day. The only thing I see is being in the real estate market, you know, as a town. It's kind of up to the town to move forward with it if you guys like to, and we are right here for you guys. We'll be staying right here, walking you through every step of the way. So any questions, comments, concerns? I'm sure there's a lot.
On these
yes, sir.
Virginia examples that you've given us, does the town or municipalities that they're in have to subsidize, like I said before, we have to subsidize over 100,000 over here. Do you know what those numbers were that they
didn't get specific on those at all on there. I would have to make phone calls to them, but anything online, I did the research on that. I couldn't find anything specific on it. A lot of it was how to get leasing for these areas, and every time I hit lease or want to lease an area, it was already booked up. So, but all of those specifics, and all that would need to be more research on those sides about exactly the money, what was put in, and the RFPs, and all the procurement and stuff. But unfortunately, I could not find any of that information.
I mean, you understand the reason why we already have that.
Yes, sir.
Is that something you could check for us?
Yeah, I can go make some calls, you know, I can do the best I can to see how everybody is, but I think that's definitely feasible to do.
Anyone else?
Thank you very much. I'm
Yeah.
glad to see what you proposed, because this is something that we need, most especially if we have teachers come in,
Yeah.
nurses, doctors. They got a reasonable place that they could rent until they could do other. That was the whole purpose of us trying to save that firehouse.
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe I'm correct in that, aren't I, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Grayson, you don't know me. I serve on the Eastern Shore Community Housing Alliance. So I know what you've put up here. I know you're right, because I get the Virginia Municipal League book, and it has in there like what it was and what it is. So I know it can be done.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So I thank you. You've done a good job.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, thank you guys for your time tonight and today, with everybody meeting with us. And if you have, I think I put my business card down with those packets, so email me, call me, and I'll make those calls. Mr. Jean, get back with you, get some more digging on it. Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, guys.
All righty. Lastly on the agenda is council comments, and I'm going to start off by welcoming our newest member, Jay, and give you the first chance to speak tonight.
Put me under a little pressure here, but.
Just a little bit.
Really appreciate, the mayor's, the council's confidence in me, and, this is, something as I issued, in my application, it's something I thought about for a while, and I kind of turned down a few times, but I just felt like this was the time for me to serve, and I'm going to serve to the best of my ability. And just thank you again for all your confidence.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Hang on. Brother Gene?
Mr. Allen, no matter what, gotta be with you. No, like I said, come back with the baby. I'll help you take care of it.
No, it's yours, buddy.
But,
It ain't mine, it's
but
yours.
the Lord is good,
Yes.
and you're in His hands, and there's no better place to be.
I know that, thank you.
And like I say, Billy's been there. I mean, I have to tell you.
Nope.
Miss Denise tonight, and like I say, I wish you'd be back with us. And thank you, Brother Jay, for being willing to serve, and these other people. It's good when you got people that are willing to serve and thing, and we appreciate them making their applications. And Brother Jay, like you say, it's nothing easy. By the decision, all the time, you're going to make half the people mad. In this country, in any decision you make, you're going to make half the people mad. But like you said in prayer, the Lord's guidance, and the Lord has certainly been good to all of us, our employees, and certainly our town. And we pray that it continues His blessings. And again, Mr. Allen, you will be in our prayers. There's no chance about that.
Billy? Just echo Gene Wayne's comments. Welcome aboard, Jay. Hope Denise is back to her normal self by the morning. And Ellen, like you said, you're in our prayers.
Yeah.
That's it. Vice Mayor?
Welcome, Jay.
Thank
That's
you.
all I've got.
All righty. Miss Ellen?
No, thanks.
You're good?
I'm good.
All righty. Well, that leaves it up to me. Again, just echo everybody else. Welcoming Jay. Wishing you the best of luck tomorrow. Hopefully you'll pull through it just fine. I'm sure you will. As I was thinking about it tonight, looking around at our council, well, it seems like everybody's going through something.
It's been rough.
Yeah, it's been a strange period. I'd just like to remind people to keep those folks down in Texas in our prayers. they are going through something. No power, pipes freezing. It's amazing what they're having to deal with. And when you think, you know, we're looking outside and it's raining, you know, we're making out good.
That could happen to us.
It is, yeah. Man, I couldn't imagine if that happened up here. We are adding to our waterfront property. I think everybody's got waterfront property these days.
And we're back property.
Yeah, right. Everybody's floating. All righty, that's it from me. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So move. Second. Motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank y'all. Good night.
Brian, how big is the square footage